What's up guys, Edrone here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Aatop W70 GPS quadcopter. Stay tuned. Alright, take a look at the packaging here from Attop. You can see we have a nice clean box here. And inside the box you'll find a nice carrying case. And inside the carrying case you will find the drone itself, the controller. You get some extra set of propellers, a screwdriver, charging cable, extra screws, extra battery, quick start guide, and instruction manual. Alright, take a look at the controller. Definitely has a more premium feel. Pull down, you have a spring tension phone holder here, which can fit a wide variety of devices. You have your antennas here on the top for the control. Joysticks feel to be okay. Not the best quality that I felt. You have a on-off button here. Okay, you have a camera, photo, and video button on the top right. On the top left, you have a camera tilt wheel, follow me button, and micro USB charging underneath. Take a look at the drone here. You see it has a pretty nice sized camera on the front. No gimbal on this one. Got some LEDs and the labeling here. You want to unfold the front arms first, then the rear. Decent sized drone for sure. It's got a good weight to it. This is going to be above 249 grams. So will need to be registered. Folding seems to be secure. Doesn't feel like it is cheap in any way for the folding. Take a look at this. This actually has a detachable camera system here, where you can actually detach the camera to put the micro SD card in the slot, up to 32 gigabytes. And it just slides right back into place, nice and secure. Really like this design. On the bottom we have the visioning positioning sensor, as well as a couple of LEDs. And the cooling fan. Yeah, I really like the look of this drone. Has a really, I think, premium look to it. Battery, 2500 milliamp, 11.4 volt, with indicator status light and USB, micro USB charging on the battery itself. Okay, push the power button and hold to turn on the drone. And you can see here, we do have a fully adjustable camera angle here with the controller. With the wheel. You can do it momentary or hold to go down all the way. Really like the look of these LEDs. We have LEDs all the way around to make this really nice looking in the air, as well as LEDs underneath. This is a very nice looking quadcopter. Let's go ahead and take it out for a flight test. Alright, we're going to get ready and do all the calibrations for the Aatop W70, so we can go ahead and get this thing ready for a test flight. For this demonstration, we're going to be doing hovering testing, GPS testing, return to home testing. Alright, so first thing you want to do, take the drone itself, place it on a nice flat surface here. I'm going to use this landing pad. Go ahead and push the power button and hold it. Okay, the drone is going to give you the startup tones. Go ahead and turn on the controller. Turn on the slide button here. And you should get 2 beeps indicating that the controller is automatically paired with the quadcopter. This one you don't have to pair it with the sticks, unlike most of these models, so that's nice. Okay, to go ahead and calibrate the compass, I'm going to go ahead and take the controller sticks and move them up and in the corners like this. You should get rapidly flashing lights, which we do have. Now you're going to take the drone, calibrate the compass, and you're going to spin this like this 3 times. Get a beep, camera down, spin this way, get another beep. The LEDs should go solid. So the compass calibration is complete. Now when you do the compass calibration, you don't want to have any metal or any kind of magnets or anything around. Okay. Now what we need to do is actually calibrate the gyroscope. So we're going to stand behind the quadcopter in this orientation, push the gyro button. You'll get rapidly flashing LEDs. They'll go solid again, indicating that the gyro has been calibrated. All right, in order to take off, you're gonna have to push this unlock button here. Propellers will spin up, Now, if we don't make any input on the controller, the propeller should shut back down. Let's see if that happens. All right, and it did. Nice little safety feature there, so that if you're not, you know, ready to take off, the quadcopter will automatically disarm. So once again, we're going to go ahead and push the lock button here on the controller. Propellers are going to spin. Now we can use the left stick here to raise altitude. And what I want to wait for here is I want to see how locked in the drone is. It's got a good sound to it, brushless motors. So far it's really locked in. Wow. And it does have LEDs all the way around the drone, which I like for line of sight flying. And underneath it has some lights as well. And it does have a visioning positioning sensor underneath. Now we are getting a little bit of changes in altitude here. See that? And we do have some wind coming through here. So keep in mind with that, you're going to want to be careful with the wind with this one. You can see, I'll put the weather up on the screen so you can see what we're dealing with out here. But just keep that in mind. You may have to be on the altitude a little bit more when it's a little bit windier, just to maintain your current altitude. As far as GPS hold, it's holding very nicely. You can see there's where we took off. Drone is there holding its position. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can push the camera button here to take a photo. Okay, the LEDs flashed, indicating that we have taken a photo successfully. Now I'm going to go ahead and push the record button, and we can see the LEDs are continuously flashing on the drone, indicating that we are actually recording video. All right, let's go ahead and fly this around a little bit. And I believe we're in speed level 2, speed level 1. Okay, so this one has 2 speeds, speed level 1, speed level 2. Let's start out at speed level 1. And we're going to go ahead, push forward. Oh wow, that's pretty fast too. Let's see how it holds with the GPS there. Okay, not bad. Did get a little bit of drift to the right. Let's go backwards. Okay, so this one has quite a bit of braking. So keep that in mind, if you can see that. When you go to stop this one, it has quite a bit of braking. I'm gonna come back down again. I like how it comes down kind of slow. Very nice. Go ahead and do a full spin. And now what I'd like to do is go ahead and gimbal down. There we go. We gimbal it down with the controller here, which I really like. Do a little yaw spin there. So yeah, we're getting a little bit of drift. Nothing too terrible though. No toilet bowl or anything like that so far. Let's go ahead and take it up a little bit higher and out further. So it is pretty fast in speed level 1. Gotta say, speed level 1, I'm very impressed with how fast it actually is. So we're gonna just see how it holds up there. As you can see, we're getting a little bit of drift. Not too bad though. Perfectly acceptable for this, you know, tier quadcopter. Just gotta fly it around a little bit, speed level 1. Just kind of looking at the altitude right now, seeing if it's gonna decrease altitude, flying in the wind here. Seems to be holding pretty steady. But yeah, it does have quite a bit of braking. So just, you know, it does take really wide turns, but not bad. Gotta go ahead and let off the stick. Yeah, so once I let off the stick, it did drift a little bit, but then it just kind of locked back in. You can see that. So, you know, not going to be your best GPS lock, nothing like a DJI or Autel or anything like that. But I think, you know, for this particular grade quadcopter, I think it's doing pretty good. Let's go ahead and bring it back and put it in speed level 2. Will say it is fun to fly. And I'm wondering if I go to speed level 2, if it will actually descend faster. So we're gonna try that as well. All right, speed level 2. Maybe a little bit faster, but not much as far as the descending. Let's go ahead and just go straight up. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Let's go ahead and do forward flight. Speed level 2 now. A little bit faster. Just trying to gotta gauge controlling it. So far, I'm really impressed actually. Speed level 2. All right. Yeah, so the controller feels a little bit sloppy. It doesn't feel exactly like dialed in. So just keep that in mind when flying this. You're gonna wanna make really small movements on the controller because the controls feel a little bit sloppy. Let's bring it back here. Maybe I could show you a little bit closer here. The speed level 2 a little bit lower. But yeah, it does descend really slow. So I don't know if that's such a good thing or not. All right, let's see how it holds here. So we'll see how the GPS holds. Definitely not terrible. I've definitely flown worse that weren't locked in as good as this one. All right, so speed level 2, let's go ahead and show you how fast that is. Not bad. Yeah, once again, we had a decrease in altitude there. So when you're flying this, you can see it kind of decreasing altitude. And I have to give it, you know, quite a bit of time to slow back down. So just keep that in mind when you're flying this. You're gonna wanna, you know, make really small movements on the controller. It does have a lot of play in the controller itself. You can see that. Not terrible though. See that, it's got a lot of braking. But that might be good since it doesn't have a gimbal. It might make your footage a little bit more stable. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's like once you let off the controller, it kind of takes it a minute to get itself locked back in, but once it locks back in, it's pretty stable. Okay, I'm perfectly acceptable with that. Let's go ahead and try a return to home test. I want to see speed level 1. Oh yeah, quite a bit of difference between speed level 1 and speed level 2. Yeah, a little bit more authority on speed level 2 for sure. I kind of wish I had a speed level 3. Wish it was a little bit faster, but I think this is perfectly safe. You know, being that the controller does have so much slop in it, I think the speed's probably more than suffice, honestly. See if our lights are still flashing for our video. Yeah, I believe they are. Yep, getting a little bit of wind now. We can see how it handles the wind. Tell you what, it looks pretty substantial. Now you can see it's decreasing altitude once again. So when the wind blows, you're really going to want to be careful. It has a hard time maintaining altitude when the wind's blowing. It keeps wanting to decrease. So there it goes again. See that? But as far as holding its position, it's been doing really well. GPS has seemed to be really well on this one. I like the look of it. Has a nice look to it. I'm gonna go ahead and do a yaw spin. I love the LEDs. Definitely has a little bit of that Mavic style look to it. And it's pretty good size as well. Now you see that? I was getting a little bit of drift there when I did that yaw spin. So I think the controller could probably use a little bit of calibrating. A little bit loose on there. All right, let's go ahead and try the return to home test. So you saw where we took off there. I'm gonna go ahead and fly it over here and go a little bit further away and do the return to home test. Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of wind for a quadcopter like this actually, so. All right, I want to park it right there, let it kind of get its bearings back. See up there, it was drifting a little bit when I lit off the controller, but now it's kind of locked itself back in. All right, cool. Obviously there's more wind up there. Go ahead and push the return to home button here. Okay, we're getting a beeping on the controller here, and as you can see, I'm not controlling the sticks whatsoever. Just want to see what it does, how accurate the return to home is. Tell you what, it flew back pretty quick. Okay, looks like I overshot it a little bit. Let's see where it ends up. If it's within 3 feet of the landing pad, that's perfectly acceptable. Let's see what it does. Okay, not too bad. Not too awful bad. Okay. I do like the way it landed. It landed smoothly. It landed nice and clean. Disarmed almost right away. We're definitely within, I'd say, 3.5 feet. Perfectly acceptable, especially for the wind that we have right now. All right, let's go ahead and put it back on the landing pad. Gotta say, all in all, yeah, see the LEDs are flashing, two flashes for the video recording. And then if we push the record button, it should stop. As final thoughts on the Aatop W70 Wolvie Pro, whatever you want to call it. You know, when I got this in for review, I really had high expectations, especially for the price point. You know, the build quality seems really decent. It has got a good substantial weight to it. This is going to be over the 249 gram weight limit, so you will need to register this if you decide to purchase this quadcopter. It has a lot of features about it that I really do like. I like the LEDs. I think the LEDs make it stand out. It makes it easier to see line of sight. I love the fact that the LEDs wrap around the front for a little bit of added, just a really cool look to it. I like the fact that it's foldable. I like the size of it. It has a good substantial feel in the air as well for the size. I really like the fact that the camera detaches from the actual drone itself in a modular design. I think that's really cool, very innovative. And I really like the battery indicator on the status LED for the battery itself. I love the fact that it has the LEDs on the bottom as well. I think that's a nice feature. I like that it has a positioning sensor. The controller feels to be of decent quality. The plastic, it has a good feel to it. It doesn't feel overly cheap. I do like that the spring-loaded phone holder in the bottom seems to be able to hold a decent sized device. And all in all, I really like the look of this. I like that the camera itself has the motorized camera angle tilt with the controller. Really nice feature. Let's talk about the flight performance as well. I do like the GPS on this one. This one seems to perform really decent as far as holding its position. And the brushless motors seem to have a good feel, seem to be able to power the quadcopter just fine. So I like that this is brushless motors. It's got a decent GPS, and overall it does feel pretty decent in the air flying it around. Now, with all that being said, let's go over some of the things that I don't like about this quadcopter and why I can't recommend this quadcopter at this time. So, with all the things that I really like about this quadcopter, it has a lot to like. However, for the price point, I simply can't recommend it. The price point is too high for what you're getting. The camera is okay, even though it does have the adjustable angle tilt. You know, it doesn't have a gimbal of any sorts or any kind of image stabilization in the actual drone itself. So your footage, you know, is not going to be as good as it could be with something, you know, with a gimbal, which you can get in this price point. You know, another thing that this drone really did struggle with was maintaining the altitude The altitude on this one, it kept, you know, lowering and raising depending on the wind. So with that being said, you know, this is not going to be one of the drones you're going to want to fly in really, you know, moderate to severe winds. This will be something you would want to fly in relatively very low winds, and I think it will perform good in low winds. I like the fact that the battery clicks into place very securely. I do like that. And while I really love the fact that this has a modular design with the camera that you can detach easily to pop in your micro SD card, I think that's a really cool feature. However, the downside of that is I really wish that they sold just the camera unit itself. You know, that way if you ever had an issue with the camera or the visioning positioning sensor underneath, you could just order and buy just this camera piece itself and replace it. That way, you know, you don't have to buy a whole nother drone. As far as I can tell from my research, I was not able to find just the camera unit itself for this drone. If I do end up finding that, I will put it down in the video description and I'll pin a comment. But at this time, I could not find just the camera attachment itself. So I think that would be a really good added benefit of having this modular camera design, being able to just buy the camera itself if you were to have an issue with the camera, the motorized tilt, or the visioning positioning sensor on the bottom. But I'm still going to put a link down in the video description for this. So if you do end up changing your mind and you you know, want to go ahead and get this, I'll put it down in the video description. I just don't think for the money that this is going to be as good of a value as you could get, you know, in the year 2023. There's a lot better options for the price point. So they did send this to me for review, but with no expectations of what would be said in the review. So I'm just going to give my honest opinion on this. You know, with the flight characteristics, it does have a lot of slop in the controller. So when you're flying this around, you know, when you let off the sticks, you're going to get a lot more, you know, slop. You're going to get a lot more additional braking with the way it flies. And I don't know if that's intentional because it doesn't have a gimbal to maybe make the footage be a little bit more stable. But honestly, I don't like that it has that much slop when you're flying it. I like to be able to let off the stick and the quadcopter just come to a stop gradually. This seems to take a lot longer to come to a stop, and it takes a lot longer to get itself back locked in to hold. So with that being said, guys, I can't recommend this one, but I'll put links down below in case you want to check it out anyway. And I really appreciate you guys subscribing. Special shout out to the patrons out there and the channel members. I couldn't be more happy to have your support. And if you want to consider being a patron and help the channel so I can do better giveaways and give back to the community, please consider becoming a patron and checking out the links below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. There's going to be more GPS drone reviews on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Edrone out.